The owner had a existing building maintenance unit, so they call it BMU. It was 40 feet long, and it's at over here. We have since taken it apart, so we've demoed the old system. And it was up here kind of tipped over on its side. The track, the pedestals, the hardware are really showing their age. So over time, they put a plan together to replace this system. Involved in it. We looked at the project and tried to figure out what could be refurbished on the track and the system. So part of this job is ultimately it's to replace, put a new BMU system on the roof, self-powered, that would travel around the perimeter of the tracks. You can see in the corner over here, there used to be some switch gear, so that BMU would ride along the tracks and make a turn and allow it to go around, and then it would be stored here in the middle of the building. So as things change over time, you're going to find safety codes have changed, load limits, structural steel means and methods from something 40 years ago versus now. So the first place we had to start was to understand what's here. So you have what's under the roof, the under roof structure, and whether it can support the new loads, and then you have the condition of the track and the structure up above and what needs to be done there to accommodate a new unit, understanding those codes. And a couple of the interesting things that we found about this job is when you have a building this old, it's hard to find original as-built structural PE stamp drawings, so we had to go into the archives and find relevant structural drawings. We're working with Magnus and Klemensic, the structural engineers who originally built this tower, for everything underneath the roof structure. We're working with Tractel for the BMU equipment and some of the refurbishment scope. We have DH Charles working on sort of the track refurbishment specifications for that, and we're facilitating this this project. This stage that we're at now is we have the tracks removed, and now we're going underneath each pedestal, and we have to assess the condition of the concrete, the flashing interconnections, the bolts and hardware, and we're going to be setting up an engineered pull test that would somewhat simulate the loads of this equipment. The equipment that's coming up here is heavier, and the two options that they provided us was a kind of a non-uplift unit, and then so that's a counterweighted unit, so it's heavier, but the uplift on it is reduced as you're lifting personnel over and the carriage over the side of the building, and you're putting an uplift on the track outside rail, which would be to me inside towards the building. So the unit that was selected, we went with the lighter unit that has some uplift to it because of seismic forces. So it's not just what's up here, it's wind load, earthquake, what happens when lateral forces are applied to the unit. So as we were going through the job, we start digging into the structural drawings, and we find that the plinths land on structural steel, but they actually cantilever over the side of the building a good 2 feet. So that means if you have the side of the building here, your parapets, which are also called plinths, are actually somewhat hanging over the side of the building where the tracks are. So you got a track that imposes a kind of could be a moment force on the pedestal systems and on the tracks. So we're coming to the end of that. We've determined that we're within our load limits and safety factors. So the next stage of this project is going to be pulling up all the flashing, checking for cracks, doing our load testing, and then kind of integrating it in with a roofing project that would be coming down the line. We have rigging assemblies that we're going to be installing over some of these mechanical wells. And that's to bring up the new BMU, which is going to be built on site. So our davits that are here, some of these things are starting to go away, but pretty soon we'll have new rigging up to be bringing up the new parts and pieces. So equipment fabrication time on a unit like that is about 36 weeks. So our goal is to get all the refurbishment done, take it through permitting, electrical, mechanical, plumbing support for the job, and start getting as much as we can get done now while we're waiting for the unit fabrication. So we'll revisit as this project starts to progress.